The lesson today will show you how to export work orders that are then made to invoices in Fleetsoft, and then how to export those invoices and send them over to QuickBooks. We are looking at our vehicle list. We have 5 vehicles showing, and we have already made some work orders for these vehicles, and I'm going to click on the work order icon up here, and then you'll see that we have some work orders made. To view the work order, you highlight the work order for this particular vehicle 1000, and to print it, you click the work order print button, and you'll see we have a work order that we made. We have an annual inspection done. It took 2 hours at a cost of $50, and we have our our kit here that we have that was for $754 and a total of $804. We have a markup then, and in Fleetsoft you're allowed to mark up your labor rate and also your parts. So I'm going to click the print button here, the preview button, and we're going to notice that we have a billable rate of $75, and we worked 2 hours on that. So here's our retail cost for Bob's Trucking, and we also marked up the maintenance kit. There was a 50% markup on that, and that is the retail price of that product. And then we'll scroll down here and we'll see the total for this item. This is the tax exempt, but you can also put your taxes in here. You have the option of either having the taxes calculated here, or you can use the taxes in QuickBooks, and it'll use the QuickBooks tax calculations if you want. That's how we have this one set up. Okay, so we have our invoice showing here, and we can either print this out or give this to the customer, or we can use the invoice that QuickBooks generates. So we're going to close this and go back to the work order. Once we have our work order showing here, we can then go into each work order. The work orders are sorted most recent first, so we're going to take that work order that we just worked on. I'm going to double click on it, and before we export it, we have to actually complete the work order and actually have it closed. So you'll go ahead and close it. I click OK, and now we're ready to export these invoices. So we go down here and we click Export Invoice. We actually go to the closed invoice, and we click. You'll see we have 2 invoices that are closed. We're going to click Export Invoice, and here is the invoice that we just did. So to export it, we simply double click in the checkbox and say Export Invoices to QuickBooks. If we had multiple invoices here, we could send all of them. We could say select all, and it will send all of them then to QuickBooks. I'm going to go ahead and click Export to QuickBooks. It's going to go and export to QuickBooks, and it's done. So now we're going to go into QuickBooks and see what happened. So I'm going to go into QuickBooks, and here we are in QuickBooks. Okay. And I'm going to go click on Create Invoices, and if we scroll back, there are 2 invoices in here. One that I sent already, but here's the one that we just did. This is for Bob's Trucking, and here's the information that it will bring over. It will bring over the customer information if the customer exists. You can, as long as it has the same customer name or customer code, it will bring up any information that you already have in QuickBooks. But it'll bring over the work order number that we assigned it to, the vehicle code, the year, make, model. It'll also bring in the license plate number and the VIN number, and then the current odometer reading. So that will show up first, and then the services will appear. So the services, we did an annual inspection. That's the service, and the services that are showing here are what the service was defined as in Fleetsoft. So you may want to have a little bit more descriptive. When you enter your services, you might be a little bit more descriptive of what it is. Here's the retail price, and then it'll take how many hours and multiply it by 2. And then also here's the trans kit description, and it takes that price, the retail price that we have, and figures that, and then it's going to total it here. What you can do here also, if there is tax, right now we only have out of state here, but if you do have a tax field in your QuickBooks thing, you can select your tax rate or whatever the default is for that customer, and your taxes will be automatically calculated. So I'm going to go ahead and close this invoice. You can edit this invoice any way you want to. Once it's sent to QuickBooks, it's in there for good, and you can make any changes that you want to. It won't affect anything in Fleetsoft. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save and close, and we're back. And you'll see also if I want to do any sales reports, if I do a sales report, you'll see that it sets up under parts. We know the total amount that was in parts and also in services, and it'll give us a grand total of that invoice. You can then also receive payments from this invoice in QuickBooks. So if you go down to customers and say you received a payment for this invoice, you can say who the customer was, and it will list the invoices that were entered in QuickBooks. These are the ones we just entered here today. This was the one we entered, and if we received a check for that amount, you can type in the amount that you received and the check number, and then you can click save and close, and you just receive that payment, and you can do all your functions in QuickBooks that you normally do. I'm going to go back into to Fleetsoft, and then we can go in and you'll see now here's the previous exported. This tab here will show you all the invoices that were exported. If there are any other, since we don't have any in here right now, if there were any other closed work orders, they would be showing in here. So if I go back into the invoices, these are all our open invoices. Notice we have a few opened. If I close these invoices, they will be sent over to the Close tab. That's everything with exporting to QuickBooks. There is some setup involved, and that is all done under the File Settings and under QuickBooks Interface. You just have to specify your company file here, and you can give it a test. And also, that we do require that you register this library. That's how. Once you click on that, you have to download this from our site, and then you can register it. There are some QuickBooks items. You do have to define what you want to have the parts invoices called, and if there's a default account in QuickBooks you want to put, you do have to fill these out. And also the taxes. If you want to bring the taxes in Fleetsoft over to QuickBooks, the sales tax, you can do that, but I'd recommend that you manage the taxes in QuickBooks. It's a lot easier, and then also you'll be able to process your monthly or quarterly sales taxes in QuickBooks, and it works very well. That's everything today. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to call 1-800-980-2555, which is our sales line, or visit us at www.fleetsoft.com.